She went to a birthday party in Lagos and discovered they were eating humans. Lagos is a city that never sleeps, loud, bright, and always hungry. Yet, beneath its noise and glitter, there are stories whispered only at night. Stories of people who vanish, parties that never end, and feasts that should never be tasted. Ralia had heard some of those stories growing up, but like most Lagos girls in their 20s, she waved them aside as village tales. Lagos was modern, fast, alive. Who had time to fear the shadows? So when her friend Falabi invited her to a birthday party in Ikoyi, she didn't think twice. "Ralia, you must come," he insisted over the phone. "It's exclusive. Very few people are invited. Just be there by 10 p.m. Ralia smiled. "Exclusive? Since when do you do exclusive parties?" Falabi chuckled, his voice unusually low. "Since now, trust me, you'll remember this night forever." She did not know he meant it literally. Rain started falling around 9 p.m., the kind that Lagos brings without warning. Thick, hot, impatient rain. Ralia almost canceled, but something pulled her forward. Maybe it was curiosity, maybe it was boredom, or maybe something darker was already calling her. She wore a simple black dress, tied her braids into a bun, and stepped out. The Uber driver barely spoke. He kept glancing at her through the mirror as though he wanted to say something but couldn't. When they reached the long private road leading to the party, he stopped abruptly. "Auntie, this is where I drop you," he said, gripping the steering wheel tightly. "But the building is still far inside." "I know, but I'm not going further. People that go inside there, they don't always come back." Ralia blinked. "What are you saying?" The man swallowed loudly. "Auntie, please, if you can turn back, turn back." She laughed nervously, thinking he was being dramatic. "Driver, a beg, it's just a birthday party." He shook his head slowly. No party starts at 10 p.m. and ends before midnight, and no good thing ever hides in darkness. Before she could reply, he unlocked the door. Ralia stepped into the rain. By the time she turned to ask him more, he had sped off. Something cooled crept down her spine, but she kept moving. The building was a mansion, tall, old, and strangely quiet. No loud music, no cars, no laughter, just a dim red lantern hanging over the entrance. Something felt wrong. But as soon as she stepped closer, the door opened by itself and warm light spilled out. Falabi appeared, smiling widely. "Ralia, you made it!" He hugged her, but his body felt stiff, cold, almost lifeless. "Are you okay?" she asked. "Better than ever," he replied, leading her inside. The living room was filled with people dressed in black. Their faces were calm, too calm. They didn't laugh, they didn't talk, they just stared at her. Ralia forced a smile. "Happy birthday," she whispered. Falabi chuckled. "Oh, it's not my birthday, it's our night." "Your night?" "Yes," he said, eyes darkening. "Tonight we welcome new members. Tonight you eat, or you are eaten." Ralia froze. He laughed lightly. "Don't be scared, just follow me." But her feet refused to move. It was then she noticed something odd. Not one person was blinking. Not one person. Falabi led her to a long wooden table. At the center was a massive covered dish, decorated with carvings of serpents and human faces. Candles flickered around it, though there was no breeze. "Sit," he instructed. Ralia shook her head. "Falabi, what is this?" His smile vanished. "You were chosen. You should be honored." "Honored for what?" To join the circle of eaters, he whispered. It is a tradition older than Lagos itself. This city was built on sacrifices. People forget that. But we remember. He tapped the covered dish. We feast to remain powerful. Ralia stared at him. Feast on what? He slowly lifted the lid. Ralia screamed. It was a human arm, roasted and seasoned, steam rising from the flesh. Falabi's voice deepened, almost recognizable. Every new member must take the first bite. Ralia stumbled back. I'm leaving! But the moment she turned, the doors slammed shut on their own. The power went out. The candles burned brighter. The guests began chanting in low, eerie tones. Their eyes glowed faintly, yellow, hungry. Falabi stepped closer. You cannot leave, not after entering our sanctuary. Falabi, please, you're scaring me. He tilted his head. I'm not Falabi anymore. The chanting grew louder. The walls seemed to pulse. Shadows crawled like living creatures. An old woman stepped forward, her face painted in white clay, her eyes pure black. She spoke with a voice that didn't belong to any human. Young girl, listen well. Long before this Lagos you know, before the bridges and the traffic, before the towers and the wealth, this land belonged to us, the eaters. Every 100 years, we renew our pact. We invite outsiders, the pure ones, the ones with strong spirits. If they eat, they join us. If they refuse, we feast on them. Ralia trembled, her heart pounding like a djembe drum. Falabi handed her a small golden dagger. Cut a piece, eat, join us. Ralia shook her head violently. I will never, never eat human flesh. Falabi sighed. Then the shadows will eat you. The moment the old woman raised her staff, the candles went out. Darkness swallowed the room. Something grabbed Ralia's wrist, cold, bony fingers. She screamed and wrenched free, running into the darkness. Her hands brushed walls, doors, cloth, and something soft, breathing. She heard footsteps, not human footsteps, heavy, dragging, hungry. The mansion changed shape around her, hallways stretching impossibly long, doors vanishing, ceilings lowering. A voice whispered behind her, "Eat or be eaten." She ran faster. At the end of the hallway, she saw a faint light, the exit. But standing in front of it was Falabi, or what used to be Falabi.
His skin shifted like smoke. His eyes were hollow, his teeth sharpened. Ralia, he said softly, don't make this difficult. She grabbed a chair and smashed it against his head. He didn't flinch. She screamed and darted past him, slamming her shoulder into the front door. It burst open. She ran into the rain-soaked night, but the shadows followed. Ralia sprinted down the long driveway, her breath ragged, her mind screaming. Behind her, she heard the chanting again, low, rhythmic, getting closer. When she reached the gate, she stopped. Falabi was standing directly in front of her, but she had left him inside. How did you? He smiled. The shadows obey us, and tonight they want you. Ralia fell to her knees. Falabi, please, you're my friend. Was, he corrected. I was your friend. But friendship cannot compare to power. Eat, Ralia. Join us, or die here, forgotten. Lightning flashed, thunder cracked, the shadows surged forward like a black wave. Ralia closed her eyes, whispering a prayer her grandmother taught her. human flesh is not meant for play. The moment she spoke those words, the thunder cracked, the shadows recoiled with a shriek. Folabi screamed, covering his eyes as smoke rose from his skin. Ralia ran. She ran without looking back. She didn't stop until she reached the main road. A passing taxi slowed down. The driver looked at her drenched, shaking form. "Auntie, what happened?" Ralia opened her mouth, but no words came out. She only said, "Take me home." When she finally reached her apartment, she locked every door, every window. She burned incense, whispered prayers, and cried till dawn. The next morning, she tried calling Folabi. The number didn't exist. His social media vanished. His apartment was empty. It was as though he had never lived. But Ralia knew the truth. He lived somewhere in the shadows. 2 weeks later, a letter slid under her door. No name, no address, just one sentence written in red ink. "You escaped the feast once. No one escapes twice." Ralia's heart stopped. In the distance, she heard chanting, and she knew the eaters were still watching, and the next feast was coming.
If you think this is fiction, you're wrong.